Hearing what Charlie said, Harold scoffed. "Keep talking, Charlie," he said sarcastically. "You know a couple of lowlifes and suddenly you think you're some big shot? I don't believe for a second that anyone important is actually coming here." Wendy, standing nearby, couldn't help but snort. That's all Charlie is good for, bragging. When no one shows up to congratulate them today, this studio will be the laughingstock of Oris Hill. Let's see you get any business then. Claire heard her, and though she didn't say anything, she couldn't help but worry. An opening ceremony, honestly, was all about showing off your connections. If a lot of guests came, it would prove the company had a strong network and a solid reputation. Especially if influential people showed up. That would make a huge impression on everyone. But if no one came, wouldn't that just tell the world that her company had no resources and no connections? Who would want to work with a company like that? If the Emgrand Group sent someone to the opening today, it would give her company a massive boost. But Claire had no idea if they would even bother. Mrs. Wilson spoke up then. "Claire, it's almost 10 o'clock, and there isn't a single guest." "I don't think anyone is interested in this little workshop of yours. I'm telling you, you should come back to work for the Wilson Group. It's better to contribute to the family's stability than to be out here on your own, getting the cold shoulder from everyone." The truth was, after learning about Claire's company opening, the Wilson family had contacted some of their old business partners. Once those partners found out Claire was from the Wilson family, they all promised they wouldn't attend the opening ceremony. They even said they would never work with Claire's studio in the future. That's why Mrs. Wilson was so certain that no respectable guests would show up today. When Claire saw her empty studio, she would be crushed, and then she'd be much easier to control in the future. At this moment, Claire was incredibly anxious, biting her lower lip with worry. Charlie, right beside her, squeezed her hand and said earnestly, "Honey, even if no one else shows up today, so what? It's enough that I'm here." Claire looked at him, touched, and nodded lightly. She already felt a little more at ease. However, Mrs. Wilson just sneered. "Charlie, you think way too much of yourself. What good are you here? Can you get someone important to support Claire's studio? Can you get her any favors? Can you find her a single client? Without the Wilson Group's support, you two are heading for a dead end." Charlie said arrogantly, "Claire's company is going to get bigger and better than you can imagine. Forget about the Wilson Group, which is already on the verge of bankruptcy. Even the Wilson Group in its prime is nothing compared to what Claire will build. What's so hard about surpassing you?" Such arrogance! Mrs. Wilson was furious. Hearing Charlie claim the Wilson Group was on the verge of bankruptcy and that Claire could easily surpass it, she felt completely insulted. She angrily threw her crutches to the ground. "You're just a piece of trash who married into our family. How dare you stand here and say such things?" Charlie smiled slightly. "You think I should be ashamed? I'm just telling the truth. If you don't believe me, just wait and see." Harold sneered. "All right, Charlie, I'm waiting to see this amazing company of yours." As the minutes ticked by, the official opening time drew closer and closer. Claire's heart pounded with anxiety. She kept checking her watch and staring blankly out the window. Seeing how worried she was, Charlie offered a few words of comfort, but it had no effect. But Charlie wasn't worried. He'd sent an invitation to the Emgrand Group, so there was no way Doris wouldn't come. She was probably just getting a gift ready. Noah puffed out his chest, acting all superior. "Well, what do you think now? Still believe you have connections?" It was almost time. If any guests were coming, they would have been here by now. The entrance is empty. It's obvious no one else is showing up. Wendy gloated. "Dad, that loser said it doesn't matter if there are no guests as long as he's here. Does he have any idea how insignificant he is? Does he really think he's the most powerful man in Oris Hill?" Just then, a voice from the front desk boomed, deliberately loud, announcing the arrival of Lucas Finley. Lucas Finley? Charlie was a little confused. He hadn't seen Lucas since the White family's banquet. the one where he'd summoned that lightning strike. He hadn't invited him to his wife's business opening today. Why was he here? The Wilson family was completely stunned. Lucas Finley? The richest man from San Francisco? He's a major player. What could he possibly be doing here? After Lucas Finley entered, he walked straight toward the office where Charlie was standing. The Wilson family watched in surprise, glancing at each other. Noah Wilson stepped forward and whispered, "I just met a businessman from San Francisco a few days ago. He said he was getting close to Lucas Finley. Maybe he introduced me?" With that thought, Noah straightened his suit and stepped forward to greet him. Even Mrs. Wilson didn't dare act superior and followed a step behind. As soon as the heavy-set Lucas Finley got close, he rushed right past them to Charlie's side. He completely ignored Noah Wilson and said with great excitement, "Mr. Charlie, I'm so glad I made it." To everyone's absolute astonishment, Charlie just nodded slightly. "Why are you here?" Lucas quickly replied with the utmost respect. "Mr. Charlie, your wife is opening her business today. How could I possibly not come to celebrate with you?" Just then, Noah stepped forward and cut in excitedly. "Mr. Finley, you're here. Let's head inside and talk. It's not right for us to be standing around out here." Lucas had been focused on Charlie, and his friendly smile vanished when he was interrupted. His expression darkened, and he radiated the intimidating energy of a powerful man. He glared at Noah and said coldly, "Who are you? Can't you see I'm speaking with Mr. Charlie?" Noah was stunned and embarrassed. He stammered, I'm Noah from the Wilson family. I believe Chase Avery from San Francisco introduced us." Lucas frowned and said dismissively, "I don't know you, and I certainly don't know any Chase Avery. I'm here today to congratulate Mrs. Wade on her company's opening." Lucas's words shocked the Wilson family. He'd actually made a special trip just to congratulate Claire? This was the richest man in San Francisco. Charlie and Claire. When did they make such a powerful connection? Noah was stunned. He never expected the man to be so rude to him, practically cursing him out. Humiliated, he quickly backed away and stood off to the side. Wendy, her face full of doubt, whispered to Harold, "Is this guy really the richest man in San Francisco? It feels like they hired an actor. Why would the richest man be so respectful to a loser like that?" Harold shook his head and whispered back, "It doesn't seem right." No one there had ever met Lucas Finley before, but the man fawning over Charlie was a far cry from the ruthless tycoon they had heard rumors about. Just then, Lucas took an exquisite box from his bag. He handed it to Claire with a respectful smile and said, "Congratulations on the opening of your company, Mrs. Wade. This is just a small token of my well wishes. Please accept it." Claire was taken aback. She hadn't invited Lucas Finley. She didn't even know him. She wasn't sure if she should accept the gift. Charlie smiled slightly and said, "My wife, it's a gift from Mr. Finley. Go ahead and accept it." Claire took the box, thanked him, and then set the gift aside. But then she heard Wendy say, "Claire, Mr. Finley gave you a gift. Aren't you going to let us see it?" "Yeah," Harold chimed in. "Mr. Finley is a huge deal, worth hundreds of billions. Any gift from him must be incredible." Claire glanced at Charlie before opening the gift box as everyone watched. Inside the beautiful box was a crystal-clear emerald pendant. The pendant was flawless, a deep emerald green, and it seemed to glow with an inner light. Mrs. Wilson stared intently at the pendant, her eyes completely captivated by it. She recognized it immediately. This was the famous "A Perfect Day" pendant from the Eastcliff auction a while back. It had sold for a staggering $50 million. The rumor was that a big shot from San Francisco had bought it, but she never imagined that man was Lucas Finley. She stared at the pendant, her eyes turning red with envy. If the Wilson family had something like that, it would be enough to turn their fortunes around. Wendy muttered jealously, "I can't believe someone else showed up. What kind of crazy luck does she have to know Mr. Finley? Just as she finished speaking, a voice from the front desk boomed over the speakers. Announcing a congratulatory gift for Miss Claire. Right after, a deep rumbling sound echoed from outside. Everyone rushed out of the building and looked up. The plaza in front had been cleared, and a massive helicopter was slowly descending. The building staff immediately sprang into action. One flower basket after another, gift after gift, was carried from the helicopter straight to the entrance of Claire's office.